Hello, it's January 14th, 2022. I want you to know that I'm reading out of Simple Abundance, and I didn't get to do last night's for today, but it really impacts what we're going to talk about for today, so I'm going to go ahead and start with January 13th. Gratitude. It's really an awakening of the heart. E. Cummings said, "The eyes of my eyes are opened." Has this ever happened to you? You pick up a book and a sentence leaps off the page as if it had been written just for you. Or you hear a revelation in the lyrics of a song. Sometimes an angel seems to whisper in your ear. One ordinary morning, I realized I was emotionally and physically exhausted from concentrating on things I wanted to buy but couldn't afford. I felt trapped in a vicious circle. The more I focused on lack and on what I couldn't have, the more depressed I became. The more depressed I became, the more I focused on lack. My soul whispered that I really yearned for was not financial security, but for financial serenity. I was still. I became quiet enough to listen, and at that moment I acknowledged the deep longing in my heart. What I hungered for was an inner peace that the world could not take away. I asked for help, and I committed to following whatsoever spirit would lead me. For the first time in my life, I discarded my 5-year goals, and I became a seeker, a pilgrim, a sojourner. When I surrendered my desire for security and sought serenity instead, I looked at my life through open eyes. I saw that I had much for which to be grateful. I felt humbled by my riches and regretted that I took for granted the abundance that already existed in my life. How could I expect more from the universe when I didn't appreciate what I already had? Immediately, I made an inventory of my life's assets. My health, a wonderful husband, a beautiful and happy daughter, their help, our home, and 3 precious pets who daily bring me faithful companionship and great joy. There's always plenty of good food on the table and wine in the pantry, except I don't drink, so there's no wine in my pantry. We are also blessed with many wonderful friends who care deeply about us and share in our lives. Once I started, my list grew. I loved my work. It was being sent out into the world and had been well received. Many women had let me know that it was the first book had enriched their lives. I truly believe that what you give to the world will be returned to you. Maybe not all at once or in a way you expect it, but if you give your very best, the very best will come back. Now was the moment to live my beliefs. When I looked at my life's ledger, I realized I was a very rich woman. What I was experiencing was merely a temporary cash flow problem. Finally, I came to the inner awareness that my personal net worth couldn't possibly be determined by the size of my checking account balance. You know what? Neither can yours. It doesn't matter how awareness arrives. What matters is that it comes. My heart began to overflow with gratefulness. I started giving thanks for everything. Daisies in a jelly jar on my kitchen windowsill. The sweet fragrance of my daughter's hair. The first sip of tea in the morning. Pork roast with apples and cranberries for Sunday supper. Hearing the words, "I love you," before I went to sleep. Each day began to offer me authentic moments of pleasure and contentment. But hadn't they before? The difference was that I was now noticing and appreciating each day's gifts. The power of gratefulness caught me by surprise. All I ask you to do today is open the eyes of your eye and give your life another glance. Are your basic needs met? Do you have a home? Do you have food on the table? Do you have clothes to wear? Is there a regular paycheck coming in? Do you have dreams? Do you have your health? Can you walk? Can you talk? Can you see your feet and the beauty that surrounds you? Do you listen to the music that stirs your soul and makes your feet want to boogie? Do you have family and friends whom you love and who love you? Then pause for a moment and give thanks. Let your heart awaken to the transforming power of gratefulness. Be open to exchanging your need for emotional and financial security for serenity. No trumpets sound when the important decisions in your life are made. Agnes de Mille reminds us, destiny is made known silently. And then I'm going to move on to January 14th. It's called the Gratitude Journal. So Melody Beatty said this: gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, and confusion into clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past. It brings peace for today and creates a vision for tomorrow. There are several tools that I'm going to suggest to you as you begin your inner explorations. While all of them will help you become happier and more content and will nurture your creativity, this first tool could change the quality of your life beyond belief. It's what I call a daily gratitude journal. I have a beautiful blank book, and each night before I go to bed, I write down 5 things that I can be grateful for about my day. Some days my list will be filled with amazing things. Most days it's just simple joys. Like Mikey got lost in a fierce storm, but I found him shivering, wet but unharmed. I listened to Puccini while cleaning and remembered how much I love opera. Other days, rough ones, I might think I don't have 5 things to be grateful for. So I'll write down my basics: my health, my husband and daughter, their health, my animals, my home, my friends, and the comfortable bed that I'm about to get into. As well as the fact that this day is over. That's okay. Real life isn't always going to be perfect or go our way. But the recurring acknowledgement of what is working in our lives can help us not only to survive, but surmount our difficulties. The gratitude journal has to be the first step on the simple, abundant path, or it just won't work for you. Simplicity, order, harmony, beauty, and joy, all the principles that can transform your life, will not blossom and flourish without gratitude. If you want to travel this journey with me, the gratitude journal, it's not an option. Why? Because you simply will not be the same person 2 months from now after consciously giving thanks each day for the abundance that exists in your life. And you will have set in motion an ancient spiritual law. The more you have and are grateful for, the more you will be given. I have told you that Simple Abundance Path is a transformative process. We're going to work on one principle for 2 months at a time, trying to weave that principle into the fabric of our everyday and ordinary lives. Let's begin today with gratitude. Select the prettiest, most inviting blank book you can find for your gratitude journal. Make a pleasant outing for its selection. Note the fabric or the design on the cover, the look and feel of the paper. Do you prefer ruled pages or blank? Perhaps you can find one with a ribbon clasp. One of the most valuable lessons in Simple Abundance has taught me that it is in the smallest detail that the flower and flavor of life is savored. As the months pass and you fill your journal with blessings, an inner shift in your reality will occur. Soon you will be delighted to discover how content and hopeful you are feeling. As you focus on the abundance rather than on the lack in your life, you will be designing a wonderful new blueprint for your future. The sense of fulfillment is gratitude at work, transforming your dreams into reality. A French proverb reminds us that gratitude is the heart's memory. Begin this day to explore and integrate this beautiful, life-affirming principle into your life. And the miracle you've been seeking will unfold to your wonderment and to your amazement. I love writing. I am a writer at heart. In fact, I have a doctorate in journalism or professional writing. You might call it wordsmithing now. But my journaling goes back to high school, where our English teacher made us write for 10 minutes at the beginning of every class, every single day. And I would start journaling saying, "This is stupid. I don't know why I have to do this. Mrs. Rhodes is stupid. This school is stupid." And then the next day I would be like, This school is stupid because it's old, or Miss Rhodes is stupid because she's old. The next day I might say, well, having an old school might be okay because after all, my mother graduated here too. And it went on like that until, sure enough, after a week or 2 weeks, I was pouring out the inner emotions that I was feeling. So when you focus in on a certain thing, like being grateful for what you have and what you are and who's in your life, there's just no substitute for it. And I know that when I'm making this recording, we're in the middle of a pandemic still and the Omicron escalation in the world. So it may not be that you can go out and have a shopping day to find a beautiful journal. It's not necessary. All you really have to have is just a composition book. I happen to use them for everything, but this one is sewn so that it's not going to fall apart. They're about $1.50, and they work great for simple things like journals. All right, I hope y'all have a good January 14th. I know this was long, but all I did was read it right out of the book and comment on it. Take care. Have a great January 14th.